That might be tempting, but here's the deal. Your diploma is so valuable that if you hold on to it, you could probably get a better job with that degree, right? With that diploma, and make way more than 10,000 in the end. So it's obviously very valuable to you at this point. You know, people value things differently. What I value may not be what you value. What you value may not be what I value. But there are certain things as believers that we all value or we should value. And your diploma has value. It has value that you shouldn't give it up for something that's temporary. To take $10,000 for your diploma today would be like trading your tomorrow for today. Grasp that idea. That's where I'm going today. It'd be like trading your tomorrow, your future, for a moment. I want to relate to you guys a story of a person who had something of great value, but sold it for basically nothing. If you have a Bible, or if you want to use the one in the pew, I'm going to be in Genesis 25 today, Genesis chapter 25. We're going to read a little bit here and give you a little bit of background. This is the story of Esau and Jacob. Some of you are very familiar with that story. If you're not, we're going to touch on it just for a second. Genesis 25, I'm not going to give you a chance to get there fast enough, but verse 27. As the boys grew up, Esau was a skillful hunter. He was an outdoorsman, but Jacob had a quiet temperament, preferring to stay at home. Isaac loved Esau because he enjoyed eating the wild game Esau brought home, but Rebekah loved Jacob. One day when Jacob was cooking some stew, Esau arrived at home from the wilderness, exhausted and hungry. Esau said to Jacob, "I'm starved. Give me some of that red stew." This is how Esau got his other name, Edom, which means red. "All right," Jacob replied, "but trade me your rights as the firstborn son." "Look, I'm dying of starvation," said Esau. "What good is my birthright to me now?" But Jacob said, "First, you must swear that your birthright is mine." So Esau swore an oath, thereby selling all his rights as the firstborn to his brother. Then Jacob gave Esau some bread and lentil stew. Esau ate the meal, then he got up and left. He showed contempt for his rights as a firstborn. Here in this passage, we got two brothers, and they're both extremely different. One of them is a hunter, one of them is a stay-at-home son who loves to clean, sweep the tent, get the cobwebs out of the top of the tent, and obviously he likes to cook. Esau goes out hunting, he comes back, and what does he say? He says, "Oh, when's dinner? I'm starving." You guys have ever said that to your parents? "Mom, when's dinner? I'm starving." Well, that's where Esau was at this point. He was hungry, and he was willing to trade almost anything to satisfy his belly. He chose his belly over his brain. He let his desires control his actions. He was trading his tomorrow for today. All too often we see people today acting the exact same way. We hear about all the time, families are ruined because of affairs. Girls get pregnant before marriage. Drunk driving accidents, overdoses. Why do these things happen? Why is our culture, the same culture that we're sending out our graduates, why do they have everything so messed up? Because people trade what's valuable for momentary desires of pleasure that completely change the course of their lives forever. See, people trade their tomorrows for today, and that's what Esau did. Look at verse 31 now to 34. But Jacob said, "Sell me your birthright as of this day." Esau said, "Look, I'm about to die. What is this birthright to me?" And Jacob said, "Swear this to me." So he swore to him and sold his birthright to Jacob. And Jacob gave Esau bread and stew of lentils. Then he ate and drank and went away. Thus he despised his birthright. Esau agreed to sell Jacob his birthright for a bowl of soup. Now that may not sound like a big deal, but let me tell you what a birthright is, because I don't know that we often understand the way things worked back then. A birthright was of great value. It was supposed to be for the firstborn, and it was a major part of the inheritance of the family. The inheritance for a Jewish son during this time was double portion of all the possessions. Double. So if there were 8 brothers, the firstborn would get double, and everybody else would just get whatever was left over after that. He would get double the land, double of the possessions, double of the animals, and double of the money. The firstborn would receive twice as much. He would also receive the judicial authority over the land. It was a major thing, if there was such a rule. He would receive the functions of the priesthood of the family. He would be placed as the head of the family property, the maintenance of the younger sons, the widows, and the unmarried daughters. The birthright was considered a high honor, one of respect, one of lasting value. And Esau gave it up for a bowl of soup. He traded his tomorrow, his future, for today. He traded his birthright for his appetite. He traded his rights for rations. He traded family for food. He sold something valuable for something valueless. He traded something important for something insignificant. He traded tomorrow for today, and guess what? It changed the course of Esau's whole life because of that one decision. He was supposed to receive the inheritance. He was supposed to be the leader of his family when his father passed away. He was supposed to be a part of the Abrahamic covenant. God, the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Esau. That's what it was supposed to say. But maybe in Sunday school class, or you've heard a preacher say, God was the father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Well, a spot. Esau traded that up. And here we are today in 2016, still talking about Jacob as part of the Abrahamic covenant, that all the world would be blessed through Abraham. And Esau was in that line, and he traded it up for a bowl of soup. It would be like selling your diploma for a hamburger. Literally, is what he did. As a believer, though, we possess something that has far greater value than a birthright. We have something that is of far greater value than a diploma or anything that this earth can offer you. It's a relationship with God through the person of Jesus Christ. That is something that we ought to value above everything else, above every decision. It's something that should be an umbrella over every decision we make. Whether it's now, whether it's where you're going to go to college, whether it's what you're going to major in college, whether it's what friends you have when you get there, what church you're going to go to when you get there, what church you decide to choose to go to. Our relationship with God is the most valuable thing that you possibly can have through Jesus Christ. Listen to 1 Peter 1, 3 and 4. Blessed be the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who, according to his abundant mercy, has begotten us to a living hope through the resurrection from the dead. Listen to this. To an inheritance, incorruptible, it means it'll never go away, and undefiled, which is pure, not marred by sin, that does not fade away, reserved in heaven for you. I love that verse because it's the same thing that Esau had. He had an inheritance from his father, and it was ready for him, and it was almost time to even receive that inheritance, as you know, if you know the story. His father would pass away not too long after that. But we have an eternal inheritance, not corrupted by sin, not corrupted by man, but it's a living hope. And that is something that I want you guys, as you sit and listen today and as you move on and make decisions, to think about that you have something of great, great value. And it's a living hope because of Jesus Christ. We all saw your I Am Second videos. Have you guys seen I Am Second videos before? They're incredible. You can get online and look at them and see how God worked in people's lives and how God is now going to be first place in their lives from now on. We saw that in yours. When you place your faith in Jesus Christ for the payment of your sins, for the future hope of your soul, you were given a birthright, but a different birthright. You are born again into an inheritance not made by man, which is temporary, tied to this life, but actually an inheritance from God that has everlasting or eternal value. And that's something that we all, not just our seniors, but we all have to hold on to that dearly and value it dearly. My challenge for us today, for our seniors today, as we think about tomorrow and all the choices you'll have to make and all the changes that will happen in your life, is that you value your relationship with Jesus above everything else. That you don't sell out, but be sold out for him. Unfortunately, we're heading into a world, you guys are heading out into a world that has the exact thing backwards. It's opposite. Things that are valueless are valuable. Things that are momentary seem to be the things that hold the most value in our world today. Don't be trapped in that. Don't be caught by that. Be sold out for Jesus. The world says that wrong is right and right seems weak. Where pleasure is preferred, principles are passing, and values become vague. There's a story, I don't know if anyone has heard this, but there's a story of a couple thieves who broke into a jewelry store. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, they switched price tags instead of stealing stuff. And they put high price tags on the cheap stuff and they put low price tags on the very expensive stuff. Maybe so that they could go in the next day and not feel guilty and buy the stuff, but it was obviously of greater value. I don't know why they did that, but the things that were cheap became very valuable, and the things that were very valuable became very cheap. That is exactly what has happened in our world today, where price tags have been switched and value has been switched. Whatever makes you happy, whatever feels good, do anything that allows you to fit in, do whatever you got to do to get a good grade. These are the things that have become valuable because they please self. And you know what happens? People trade their tomorrow to satisfy their desires of today. And guess what? They're just like Esau, their whole lives are affected by it. The decisions that you guys are making right now will, I'm not going to say maybe will, they will affect the rest of your lives. You know what? That's true for everybody. The decisions that you all make today will affect the rest of your life. And you have to know what is valuable. You got to know what price tag is on which item and if it's worthy or not. See, here's the problem. In colleges today, guys and girls are losing their virginity before marriage. College students are partying and drinking and trying all kinds of different drugs. And I'm sorry to say it, but this was even happening in my Christian college. I went down the road to Ankeny, Faith Baptist Bible College. And I went into that college thinking, oh, this is a Bible college. Everyone's going to be perfect. I'm going to have something to live up to. Man, when I got there, kids were getting kicked out because of sex and drugs and alcohol and all kinds of things at a Christian college because price tags have been switched. Value is placed on things that are momentary for some strange reason. Well, I know why. It's because of sin. Cheating to get ahead at school or at your job. Unfortunately, price tags have been switched. These things have become common for college students today and in our culture today, but they have no real value, and they can change the course of your life forever. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to tell you that college is going to be horrible. College is going to be great, but you guys got to hold tightly to your relationship with Jesus Christ, because only through that will you be able to make wise decisions about all these things that you're going to be seeing every day. Don't trade it in. Don't trade your relationship with Christ for a moment of fun. Don't trade in your relationship with Christ for a moment of fleshly desires. It's not worth it. They have no lasting value. And unfortunately, Esau didn't get it. And his whole life was affected by it. His whole future was affected by it. I'm going to ask the band to come on up as I close here. My encouragement and challenge for you can come up too, Priscilla. My encouragement and challenge for you guys, graduating seniors, as you start this new chapter of your life, and even the rest of your entire life, is just that you don't trade your tomorrow for today. That you say, you know what, my tomorrow includes Jesus. I'm not going to trade up that for something small and momentary today. That you value your relationship with Christ the rest of your life. It's important for you. No, it's vital for you, actually, as you go to this next stage of your life. You know, people know that I'm a Cardinals fan, especially when I just told you all. But I wear my Cardinal shirts. I mean, the nuns are Cardinals fans too, right? Woo, there we go. They wear Cardinals gear on opening day. They're more dedicated than I am, okay? Listen, people know that you're a Cardinals fan if you're wearing the hat, if you're wearing the shirt, if you talk about them, if it's on your TV at home, whatever. They can tell. But I hope and I pray that people know that I'm a Christ follower, like you guys said, by what I say and by what I do, so that they will see that I value Jesus above everything else. And I want that to be your desire. So I just want to close with this. There's two people I want to ask you if you want to be like. Do you want to be like Esau, who I've already told you about, who didn't value the right things and it changed the course of his life? Or do you want to be like Joseph? I wish I had more time. Probably do, but it's okay. I wish I had more time to go into Joseph because he had the right price tags on things. He valued the correct things. In fact, he was tempted by Potiphar's wife, but instead he chose what he valued. Here's what he said: how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Man, that's a young man that had the right value, the right price tag on what he valued. Take warning of the life of Esau and the choices he made that were just for a moment but changed his whole life. A bowl of soup changed his life. I can't get over that. He never recovered. Take warning, but take hope. Hope that, there are Josephs in your college. There will be Josephs there, people who have the right values. There were Josephs at my college for sure. But I know at Marshalltown Community College and Grandview and wherever David decides to go in the end, there will be Josephs there, okay? Those are the people that you can live like. Those are the people that you should become friends with, because to value something is great, but to have someone who values it as well is all the more encouraging. Look for those kind of people. Never neglect the most valuable thing in your life, Jesus. Choose Jesus. Don't trade your Savior for something unsatisfying. Don't walk away from the church for something that will walk away from you. Value Jesus. Hold tight to the promises, because that's something worth living for. Our band is going to play a song for you guys now. This is a song that most of you might know. If you don't, just enjoy listening to it. If you'd like to sing along, feel free to. But this is more of instead of an invitation, it's more of a tribute to our seniors. Just to remind you guys, as you think about what you value, that you are the light of the world. Jesus said that in John 8, I'm the light of the world. But then when he left, he said, you are the light of the world. And so go out and be that light.